Welcome, everyone. We're just waiting for a few more attendees to log in. We will start officially at 1 p.m. I encourage you to go ahead and check out the handouts while you're waiting, and I will start the presentation right at 1 p.m. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Castle Building and Remodeling's virtual Impressive Progressive Home Tour event. My name is Hannah Huseman, and I am the marketing manager here. Today, we are so excited to virtually show off these projects to you all. While we are sad that we are not able to showcase these projects to you in person, we are excited to share this opportunity with you virtually. Today in our panel, we will be hearing from our owner, Loren Schirber, remodeling design pro and interior designer Ashley Hansen, as well as design manager Amy Hink. Before we get started, I just wanted to share a few housekeeping items with you. First of all, this event is being recorded and will be shared with all attendees at a later date. At any point, please don't hesitate to submit a question in the Q&A chat panel. If you're not sure where to find it, head over and it will be right down here. There also are handouts included. We should have 5 of them. They have information about the projects we are presenting, information about our company, as well as how to choose the best contractor for your remodeling project. Guests are muted and do not have video, so don't worry if you're eating a snack while enjoying the show. We won't hear you. At the end, a quick survey will be sent out, and we hope that you'll take the 2 minutes to provide feedback on today's event. I will be moderating throughout the event and will do my best to answer any questions that you submit, as well as get them to our presenters today. If we don't answer them, we will answer them offline for you. I also want to mention that I am broadcasting from my own home, and therefore you will not see me wearing a mask, unlike our other presenters who are in these homes today. Okay, so we're going to get started by meeting Loren. Loren, you want to hop on and say hello? Looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Let's just give Loren a moment here. Let's see.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay.
All right, I'm Loren Schirber. I'm the owner of Castle Building and Remodeling. My dad started Castle Building and Remodeling 42 years ago, Marty Sherbert, and I've been running things for the past 17 years now. I'm excited to share this event with you. We've had a home tour for about 8 years now, and I envision this event as a way to showcase some of our projects throughout the year. The home tour happens once a year in the fall, and this is a great way throughout the year for people to see other beautiful projects of ours. We do about 160 projects a year and try to make every one of them impressive in some way or another, but these ones were truly impressive, and we hope they inspire you to take action and to make your own home your castle. These were a couple of our best projects in 2019, and we hope that you'll leave truly impressed and inspired and ready to take action to fix up your home and make it your castle. So I'll turn it back over to Hannah. We've got a poll for you.
Yeah, we do have some really impressive projects to showcase today. We have a beautiful kitchen as well as a master suite. I wanted to quick ask a poll though and see if you were to remodel one space this year, what room would you be choosing? Let's get that up and see. And Loren, while we're waiting for the results, what trends have you seen this year for projects?
Sure, yeah. Well, I spend a lot of my day talking on the phone with folks who are thinking about remodeling. And so I definitely hear when trends change, or as people have been home from work or have their kids home from school, there's definitely more people in the house on a regular basis. And so we've seen people get creative with how they work and where they work from and how they create new offices and porches and guest bedrooms and basements. And that's really led to the need for extra bathrooms, extra living space. And that's kind of the trends we're really seeing, are that people want more living space so they can spread out and more comfortably work from home. We still are seeing the same things of people want to do kitchens, they want bathrooms, they need extra bedrooms, and they're normally considering whether they should move or stay and, you know, maybe buy a different house or fix this house up. And so in some ways things haven't changed, but there definitely have been some trends or new trends that we run into, and that includes people's desire to add a accessory dwelling unit or a second space, like a mother-in-law or father-in-law apartment. We're hearing a lot about folks who want to have a older relative move in with them and make their house a duplex or a triplex. And so those are some of the trends that we're running into. But kitchen and bathroom, basement and attic, those are the big recurring projects that we run into all the time.
Okay, well, let's see what our audience has voted for today. It looks like right on trend, mostly kitchens, which is great because we have a beautiful kitchen to showcase today. Bathrooms and additions coming in at a tie. That's very interesting. Do you find that you have an equal amount of bathrooms and additions coming through these days?
We hear a lot of bathrooms, and you know, whether it's remodeling a bathroom or adding a bathroom, I'd say recently we've had a lot of calls about people wanting to add a half bath on a main floor to make the house, you know, more friendly for guests, so they don't have to go up or down stairs. We've had people who want to add a bathroom in a basement because their kid in college is not going to be going back to campus this fall, and so, you know, we've seen a lot of different trends, but bathrooms seem to be more popular than additions just because they're less expensive.
Right.
You know, anytime you can work within your existing space, it's going to be a lot less expensive than an addition. But additions are popular as well, especially when people like their neighborhood and their house and know what they have.
Certainly. Well, let's see. I know we're going to move over and talk to Ashley. We have some samples of past kitchen projects that we've done, as well as bathrooms. And Ashley is in Northeast. She's going to present a beautiful kitchen that she helped design. So let's see a little video. Designer Ashley Hansen and project manager Steve Carr helped to create this bright open kitchen. Quick note before we move over, if you have any questions, don't forget to head over to the Q&A panel and I will do my best to get them over to Ashley while she's presenting. Ashley, are you ready to get started?
Hi everyone, yes, I am ready to get started. So as Hannah said, I'm Ashley and I'm one of the interior designers at Castle. I am really excited to show you all this kitchen, and it also includes a half bathroom in the design too. So first of all, I think it would be really helpful if I show you the original floor plan and then the new floor plan. What I'll do to do that is I'm going to share my screen, and just for a little bit, I'm going to turn my camera off. So I'll get that situated here. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, awesome, thank you. This is a floor plan of the original kitchen layout, and it shows actually most of the first floor of this home. So to give you a little bit of context, where my mouse is going down, this is the front of the house where there's a living room and then a staircase going up, and the bedrooms in the house are all on the second level. And then coming around here is the dining room that for the most part stayed as is. And then going through here is the kitchen where a lot of, or most of the work happened. Originally, the kitchen was about 9 feet by 8 feet. So it's right here where that U shape is. And so when the homeowners, Allison and Andrew, came to us, they knew that they wanted changes and they knew that they had a home that could accommodate changes. And so the two main areas that they knew they could tap into to create a larger kitchen is right here, an area that is about 6 feet by 11 feet that they had been using as their office area. And so just the way they do life in their home, they knew that they could do without the dedicated office area. And then over here is a staircase that was technically, is just a secondary staircase that wasn't used very often. So they knew that they could get rid of that and then also bump into this office area, which made a huge, huge difference. So some of the main goals when they first came to Castle wanting a new design is a larger kitchen, and then also to gain a half bathroom on the main level, because originally there's only one bathroom on the second floor, and then with like a dishwasher, and they're open to keeping the window placement as it had been, which in a little bit you'll see we ended up changing the window placement. So I'm going to switch it over now to the new floor plan. All right, so I'll try to explain here what happened. So in the dining room, what we ended up doing was we made a new opening, and then where that half bathroom or where the staircase had been, we put in a new half bathroom. So this offered a lot of good attributes to their home. So having the half bathroom is definitely a positive, and then also it made a much more direct route to get to the basement. When you're upstairs in your bedrooms and then coming down, you can just go right downstairs instead of having to go all the way around through the kitchen and then downstairs. And then, so that was one thing in the original meetings with Castle. In the preliminary design phase, we weren't necessarily going to make an opening in the dining room, but through considering a number of floor plan options, this just definitely ended up being the one that we thought was best. And so then coming around here, going through the dining room, same doorway to get into the kitchen as had been before, then you can see that it was expanded, so it's about twice the size as it had been before. Gained a really large pantry space, and now the kitchen extends all the way over to where the office space was. So made a huge, huge difference in their home. And then another thing we did was we added a new exterior door, and then we also added a new little deck here. So they had already had a patio with pavers along this part of the house. It just gives a lot more of a direct access right to their backyard, which I think has been fun for them. And so I'm going to point out where the window changes had happened. Right here, we see the hatching in the wall. There had been a window right there. We did talk about keeping that in the end, just with already doing a little bit of exterior work. We did decide that it was nice to get rid of the window. It had been facing a neighbor's house, and we just put more of the emphasis on getting windows on this wall here. So we added a new one here and then replaced the two others. So it brings in a lot of natural light, which you'll see in a little bit when we do a walkthrough. And then this door here is also a full glass door, so it brings in a ton of light to the space. And in the past, there had been a radiator right here, and then there had been a radiator underneath the kitchen sink. So we kept with using the boiler to heat the space. It's just there's a really nice unit that we took advantage of, which is a toe kick heater. So it's underneath this sink and it's attached to the boiler system, and it's adequate to heat their whole kitchen. So that was a great way to still use their existing heat system, but then save a ton of space so we could get as much cabinetry and countertops as possible. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over back to the camera and stop sharing my screen. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to walk you guys through the space. Unplug my computer from a few things. Okay. So right now I am walking into the front living room. Actually, there's Allison. And this here is the staircase that goes up to the 2 bedrooms. And when we turn here, this is that dining room that I pointed out on the floor plan. So the door you see here was always there. And in fact, it had one like more of like a butler door on it that swung both ways. We took that off because we didn't really need a door going into the kitchen, and we repurposed it as the barn door for the half bathroom. So over on the right side of your screen, you can see the new doorway that we opened up in the dining room. And that is, so where you see the toilet sitting there, that is the new half bathroom. So that is where the staircase had been. I'll walk you through to this. So you can see here a nice direct path down to their basement where the laundry is. And then the half bathroom, I'm going to go in there and then turn the screen. Allison and Andrew did some really fun wallpaper on their own, which I love. And then they have a wall hung sink, which helps make the space look bigger without having anything on the floor. And that wallpaper really offers a nice accent from when you're sitting in the living room. So then coming back here, what we'll do is we'll walk into the kitchen. You can already see how bright the kitchen is. So I'm going to back up here. All right, so standing in the dining room, looking into the kitchen. So in the past, the kitchen had been much dimmer than what it is now. If you look in your brochure that you would have gotten in the mail, you can see what it had looked like in the past, and then on this little tour, what it is now. So the updates include much lighter, brighter, cheery colors, and of course, all the windows, the glazing helps a ton. I'm going to go through a few details of what the kitchen had and what it has now. So one of the first ones I'll mention is the past kitchen had 9.5 linear feet of countertops, and it now has 17 linear feet of countertops. So starting there by the door, going around, has that nice big island with the butcher block. And then the kitchen had 13 linear feet of base cabinets, and now it has 30 linear feet of base cabinets. It had 15 linear feet of upper cabinets, and now, or sorry, it had 15 linear feet of upper cabinets, and now we have 13. And that 13 is including these floating shelves here. So while there's a little bit less upper cabinets, we made up for it with that pantry. To the right of the fridge is a new pantry. I'm going to open up the doors. It gives a lot of storage to this space. So walking over here, we'll get these opened up, and then, oh, that's right, they push in. And then I'll back up so you can see just how much can fit in there. And that the organizational components in there is something that Allison and Andrew took on themselves. So after Castle had completely done the project and were out of their home, they took some time to put the shelves in and get it all organized. And then in the past, the kitchen had one tall cabinet, and now we have similar one again. So you can see how much can fit in there. just so much storage in here. I think a lot of people would have fun moving back into a kitchen like this, just finding a spot for everything. And what I'll do is I'm just gonna close these. In the past, Allison and Andrew had no dishwasher, so I'm thinking they probably enjoy having the dishwasher. So there's that new one there. So that was a big improvement. And they also have a nice spot for the microwave. You can see it in the island there in that base cabinet. So it's not something that they use a ton, the microwave. So it's kind of nice to just have it tucked away versus above the stove. One thing I do want to point out here above the stove is some accent tile, and that is locally made tile from a place called Clay Squared in Northeast Minneapolis. Allison and Andrew took some time to go there, meet with, I believe, the owner, and he helps them pick out the colors and the pattern, and it's just such a fun pop of color. And fun to have that story of it being a locally made product. Okay, so down here underneath the sink, you can see that toe kick heater, and that puts out enough heat for the kitchen. And then back here, I'm gonna turn, you can see out to that new deck that we installed. They did the staining of it. Allison and Andrew had also done all the painting. Turned out great with all the colors. Okay. And then one thing I'll mention is above the stove is a hood that is built into that cabinet. So it's really nice. The the company that made the cabinets, they actually have the option where they provide the hood. And it just comes right in there, built in. And that is vented outside. So where this had been where the window and the sink had been. And then I'm going to bring us back to the table here. And then I'm going to see if Allison wants to join me. I had a few questions I thought you all might like hearing Allison's answers for. All right, so this is Allison again. And so Allison, I have a question for you. How has the remodel changed the way you use your house on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, day to day, we use it. We're in there so much and eat every meal in there. And we just can't believe how much time we spend in there.
Mhm.
The light is really great. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of light coming in.
So much.
And as Ashley mentioned, the toe kick heater does really warm the space up in the winter.
Good.
And we even have just one air conditioner window unit in the dining room here, and that comfortably heats or cools our whole space.
Oh,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, we use it so much, and we wish we had done it sooner. So we're very thankful we did it and had it all wrapped up before we all had to be home so often.
Yeah.
So it's been really great. Yeah.
And how has it been not having that office nook? Where have you found that you perch as you working from home?
Sure. Yep. So I do work from home all the time now, and on this dining room table, I usually have my computer set up.
Sure.
So, which works out well, and then my family can go and make their meals, and I can continue working. So that hasn't really been a problem at all, not having an office space.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's something we've been finding that I hear quite a bit from homeowners is, a lot of times we have a big room dedicated to a dining room.
Yeah.
And it's nice when people can use it as multifunctional, whether it be your new home office or things like that. So you guys make great use of this space for sure. Yeah. And then how has the remodel changed the way you host people?
Yeah, we before we all went into quarantine, and we did have a few times where we had invited people over and had actually Thanksgiving here and hosted family, and that was great
fun.
because the kitchen was perfect. The counter space we gained, we used the center island, and it's just been so wonderful having all that workspace, and being able to have many more people in the kitchen than we used to have.
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
we at most could have about 3 people
Yeah.
in there, and now we have plenty of room for a lot of people.
Awesome.
And using the backyard and the door to go out to the back and utilize our back patio area has really improved too. So
Awesome.
it's been great. We've gained so much space, and we're really happy with all the work you've done.
Oh, good. Thank you. You guys are a joy to work with for
Good.
sure. Yeah. Okay, so now that we have asked Allison a few questions, just curious from anyone listening, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask myself or Allison? I'll look at the panel here to see if any questions came through.
Ashley, there are a couple while you're looking.
Okay.
The first question from Lori, she actually has 2 questions. Her first, real quick, she wants to know what the painting technique is on the dining room wall behind you. Is it paint, rag roll, or is it wallpaper?
Do you want me to answer
Sure,
that?
sure.
So right after the remodel happened, my husband and I decided to tackle removing the wallpaper because there were 3 layers of wallpaper on this wall.
Oh, wow.
The finish is plaster, and right now it's raw plaster. So this house is built in 1917, so it's the original plaster work. When things, we have more opportunity to have more trades persons in, we're going to have the wall skim coated. So we're going to continue to take some more wallpaper off in our living room and have the walls skim coated and painted. So
Yeah.
it's raw plaster. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one of those things where the project had turned into something more than what we were originally talking about. And why that came into play is we made that new opening in the dining room to get to the half bathroom. So then it snowballed, and then it's like, well, they might as well take the wallpaper down. So that's what happened there. Hannah, what is the second question?
She would also like to know what are some classic kitchen colors you are seeing these days?
So classic, I would say for the things that are built-in stationary, so by that I mean anything that is harder to remove. So cabinets, tile, pretty neutral. A lot of white cabinets in kitchens, and white subway tile does tend to be one that we do a lot of. And that's mainly because we work in older homes in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and it's a more classic look for people. And then we are seeing some like brighter pops of colors here and there too. And it's always dependent on the home's character. So if the outside of the house is more gray tones or darker tones, we want the inside to reflect that. And same for if the outside of the house is more of like brown tones type of thing, we want to kind of bring that in. So with this kitchen, we thought about that with the light fixtures. Some of them I believe have brown, like the
We did like a bronze kind of finish with the handles and the faucet and the light fixtures as well.
Yeah, so that was with in mind like the original light fixtures and the hardware on the doors and whatnot. So always good to keep those things in mind. And then, light gray is a classic color that is definitely being used, like you see in their kitchen. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that was awesome. We're going to take 2 more questions before we move on to our next house.
Okay.
Carla wants to know, and this is for you, Allison, did you guys move out while the kitchen was being remodeled?
We did not. We stayed here during the whole construction process. And it wasn't terrible because we had a bathroom upstairs. We mentally prepared for the dust and the mess, and it was not as bad as we thought it was going to be. So, yeah.
That's good to hear.
Mhm.
And then final question from Brad. He would like a little more information on your backsplash tile, as well as your countertops, colors, materials, any more insight you could provide on that.
Sure.
Yeah, I assume you're talking about the clay squared
Yes.
inset tile. Yep. My husband and I, like Ashley said, we went and picked out the colors that we wanted and worked with Josh, the owner of Clay Squared, and decided which glazes we wanted, and then we kind of laid out a pattern ourselves, and then ordered all the tiles ourselves, and had them inset. And I will say the crafts work, the work that the tile setter did was amazing. It's really incredible work, and yeah, he did an amazing job. Yeah, we were really pleased with that.
I've always loved seeing the clay squared projects. They're always phenomenal and unique.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to answer the question about the countertops, I just had a reference in my little printout here. The countertops, they are quartz, and it's Silestone is the manufacturer. The color is Blanco Orion. And was there a question about any other materials that I'm missing?
Do you have the square footage for the countertop materials?
Oh yeah, so there is about 17 linear feet of countertops in there now. And that's including the island.
Okay, perfect. And that was butcher block, right?
Yeah, the island's a butcher block. Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful. Well, if any more questions come in for Ashley, I'll have her answer those offline, whether it's through the chat features or in an email after the event. So don't hesitate to keep sending in those questions. In the meantime, I'm going to take over your screen, Ashley.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so before we move on to our next project, I am going to ask another poll. I'm curious to see if you were to remodel your kitchen, what would you want to remodel most? And while we're thinking about that, Loren, if you wanted to hop on and talk about the different trends you're seeing, what people tend to pick.
Sure, glad to. So I do talk to a lot of people about kitchen remodels, and just to start out, there are some definite differences between what we call a makeover and a remodel. A makeover, which a question came in earlier about, is primarily around reusing cabinets. If you have a nice, big enough space with enough counter space and enough cabinets, but you just think your cabinets are ugly, but they're pretty solid and not cheap cabinets that are falling apart, there are some options that are quite a bit expensive than a complete kitchen remodel. And so we do talk to people about that and try to push that option. And so that's what we call a makeover. On the simple end of the makeovers, it's maybe a new sink, a faucet, countertop, a backsplash, and that's maybe a $10,000, $12,000 project, depending what type of countertops you pick out. On the expensive, higher end of the makeover category, it might be countertops, sinks, backsplash, reface cabinets with new doors and drawers, soft closed doors, soft closed drawers, painting or refinishing the cabinets, flooring, opening up a wall, new lighting or under cabinet lighting. And that could be, as much, adding a few new cabinets, and that can be as much as $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, which is a lot of money, but is less expensive than a complete kitchen remodel. The one thing I'll say about the makeovers is that some species of wood, like oak cabinets, can be tough to paint. It's possible to sand and refinish or put on a new style of door and drawer and completely update the look. But oak doesn't take paint very well. If you want white cabinets and you have oak cabinets, you're going to see grain through there and it's going to be tough. On the other end of the spectrum is a complete remodel where we tear out the cabinets and we tear out the plaster and we get the horsehair out of the wall and knob and tube wiring out of there, and we do everything, complete remodel, gut to the studs. And those projects on the lowest end, more moderate kind of apartment style box cabinets, laminate countertops are probably $60,000. More typically, if we're opening up a wall or doing semi-custom cabinets or quartz countertops, it's in the $80,000 to $90,000 range typically. So you know, with kitchens, there's really everything from $10,000 to $90,000, and you know, anything's possible. But the budget and how long you're going to be in your house and how much you're going to be there to enjoy it kind of are what people are weighing back and forth. And from our point of view, we'd like to help you with any of those that you see fit. So that's the trends in kitchens.
Wonderful. Well, let's see what our audience said that they would want to update the most. So it looks like updated cabinets is a pretty popular choice, as well as updated countertops, which I think echoes pretty much everything that you've been saying, Loren.
I'd agree, yeah.
So before we head over to our next project, we'll just show you a couple examples of updated countertops, cabinets, etc. In recent projects, kitchen projects, across Minneapolis and St. Paul. And actually our next project is in St. Paul, so that is a great transition. We're going to head over to see Amy in just a few minutes while she gets set up. I just wanted to make a note that the project she is presenting is actually designed by Mark Benzel. He passed away last August. Mark started remodeling homes in 1978 and operated his own design build firm for 25 years. Mark was a longtime member of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, also known as NARI, and he served on the board of directors for the Minnesota chapter of NARI from 91 to 2007. In 1992, Mark's company was chosen by Remodeling magazine as one of their Big 50 Contractors of the Year. As president of the Minnesota chapter in 94, Mark was honored with the Industry Leader of the Year award. Mark has also served for 7 years on the NARI National Board of Directors. In December of 2007, Mark was named as a founding director for Minnesota Green Star and served as the Minnesota Green Star Treasurer and Operations Manager through the end of 2011. While our team is devastated to lose such an amazing person, as well as amazing talent, we are honored to share just one more of his projects with you all today. Designer manager Amy Hinck has the pleasure of showcasing his amazing talents. Reminder, if you have any questions during the tour, head over to the Q&A panel and I will have Amy and Loren answer them at the end. Amy, over to you.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Amy Hinck, and I'm the design manager here at Castle. I've been in residential remodeling for about 15 years and with Castle for about 8. Part of my role here is actually to meet with prospective clients like yourself at your house and then go over what you'd like to do and give you a rough estimate. So I actually had the pleasure of doing that at the job Ashley showed and met with Allison. And so it's really fun to kind of see it all come to fruition and see what Ashley came up with. So, you know, I help figure out who's a good fit for projects along with Loren. And then I help kind of review documents throughout the process. I'm kind of another set of eyes on things. Usually I look at cabinet orders in particular. And then I keep the showrooms kind of up to date. We have 4 of them, so it's convenient, kind of depending on where you live throughout the city, to come and look at everything that Castle has to offer. So I help keep those up to date, keep up with vendors, and then just kind of help our designers out and get them continuing education. So at this particular project, I was actually part of the designer oversight as well, due to Mark's unfortunate passing. So I was available to kind of do the walkthroughs with the client and the project manager when it came to like electrical walkthroughs, tile walkthroughs. So at Castle, you do get that oversight with the designer throughout construction, because we are a design build firm and we like to work as a team. And so you do get that designer oversight because things will come up. It's remodeling. We spend a lot of time planning up front, but you know, we may find that a joist or a rafter is in the way of something and that we have to kind of move a light fixture over slightly or things like that. So designer oversight's valuable. And that's kind of what I did on this one. So I figured what I would do is start outside and show you a couple things for this house, the addition, and then there'll be a short transition and I'll show you what's inside. So in this particular project, we did the 2nd story addition. These clients had actually done a 1st floor addition about 15 years ago. And so it was set up pretty well to actually build on top of. They had a good foundation. We didn't have to change anything on the 1st floor walls, but you kind of see that band separating the 1st floor and the 2nd floor. So that's kind of where we started our work and went up. We did redo the floor structure just so it was sound for walking on. It matched up with the floor on the rest of the 2nd floor. We were able to get plumbing fixtures in. And so that was kind of part of this project, was redoing the floor structure. There was a little bit of ceiling work on the 1st floor and then building up. So you can see that we matched, you know, the siding pretty well from what they had. They had vinyl siding on the back 1st floor addition. That's what they wanted us to do up. And then we also did kind of a pretty soft blue soffit fascia and gutters. And so we were able to match and make it look fairly seamless from their previous addition to their new one. Some of the other things I wanted to talk to you about are mini splits. So that is the heating system that we chose to do for this particular project. And so in a second, I'll walk around and kind of show you the different parts and pieces of that. But essentially what it is instead of going off of their existing boiler or someone's existing furnace, you can pretty much do a separate unit so that we are able to kind of get the heating where we need to go, the cooling where it needs to go, without having to kind of find a chase throughout the rest of the existing house. And it also makes you a little more efficient within the space as well. And then there's a couple different ways to do mini splits. You can do a ducted or a ductless. These ones are ductless, so that we actually have a unit that is up in their master bedroom. So it's on that side over there, which I'll show you in a second. And then they wanted to add one on their 1st floor family room as well. So we did that as part of this project. And then the condenser is actually on the side here. So I'm going to start to walk around and show you some of this. Bear with me for a second here. So you can see this vertical line here. I'll just kind of walk up to it there for a second. So that's actually the line set that's on the outside, and it goes up all the way to where it goes into the house. And then on the outside of the home, we have the unit. So hopefully everyone can see that there. And then I'll kind of show you that's in the family room. And then I'll show you what the units look like when we get indoors as well. And then another important thing to consider when doing additions is also kind of how close are they to property lines. So oftentimes we will get a site survey right away if we're going to be doing an addition project. You can see in this particular project, if I walk over here, we were very close to the lot line. So we only had about 3 feet between the property line and the house. So what that meant for us, we talked to the city zoning department, and they were able to tell us that instead of needing a variance, all we had to do was, well, a few things that we had to do. One was to do a glass block window in their bathroom and make it a fire rated glass block. So it was a special order item, but it was something that, we were able to easily do. And then another thing, we had to do an extra layer of gypsum board or drywall along that wall that was shared with kind of that close property line. That's going to be pretty common if you do garage additions and you have it really close to a property line. So again, nothing too difficult. And then we also had to bring in the soffit and fascia, so kind of the eave up by where the roof is, just a couple inches, and then we didn't need a variance. When you do additions, it is always smart to talk to zoning, get the site survey, and kind of think about all those things up front so that we know what all is involved, if we do need to make arrangements, or if we need to get a variance. We're actually going to be starting a job in about a month here for a two-stall garage addition with a deck and kind of patio area on top. And we did have to get a variance for that one just due to proximity. So one of our great designers was able to get that through zoning and went to the hearing and provided all the information that was necessary, and we were able to start on that addition. So this is a great master suite addition that's up on the second floor. And I think I will head inside to be able to show it to you. So we'll have a short transition here.
Wonderful. Thanks for showing us the outside, Amy. While we're waiting for her to get upstairs, I'm going to ask one last poll. If you were to start your remodeling project, how soon do you think you would want to begin? Within 6 to 9 months, within a year, or within 2+ years? Loren, while people are answering that question, do you have any insight on what current timelines have been looking like?
Yes, I do. So generally for Castle, you heard Amy talk a little bit about our planning. We are really big on a complete and thorough upfront design and planning process. And so as fast as people want to get going, we're only able to go so fast through that comprehensive process. And so it can take 2 months of planning on a bathroom, 3, 4, 5 months of planning on an addition from the time that we start and measure and then work out floor plans and get into selections and finishes, and then go through a pricing site visit with our trade partners, a little bit of revisions, last minute thinking and tinkering, and then a final price and signing a contract. So that can take a couple months, 2 to 4 months generally. And then from the time we sign a contract, it's another 4 to 6 weeks usually before we can start. And during that time, we're ordering materials, getting the permit, scheduling our subcontractors, and getting on the calendar for our employees. And so some folks, that's about as fast as we can go. We talk to folks all the time who are thinking about a project for next year or the year after, and starting to plan and save and get information. And we hear all different types of timelines that people are interested in. The slide you have in front of us is a roller coaster of emotions throughout the remodeling project and the design process. And it's a kind of fun one to just get yourself mentally prepared for this process. And starting at the beginning there, the design process starts out very exciting. making decisions, you know, and then you slowly get into the million decisions you have to make. And do we want oil rub bronze hardware or, you know, brush nickel? Big decision, and there's a million of those. And then you get to the contract point, and that's a really big check you got to write and contract you got to sign. And I always joke with people in that design process, not a big deal. You just have to plan the rest of your life, how long you're going to be here, where the kids going to go to school, etc. And then you get into construction, and that's very exciting. You know, especially during demolition and framing, and little by little, it starts to wear on you a little bit, with people showing up at 7 in the morning to start working and sharing a bathroom with workers and dust. And get through those mechanicals. Drywall is usually a pretty low point. Just when people are kind of getting ready for us to get out of there, we get it together little by little, and it gets more and more fun as you see the tile and the flooring and the cabinets and the countertops go in. You can imagine yourself using it. And you get to that final spot, and it's usually just kind of a relief to get us out of there and have the space back to yourself. We like to talk to people 3 or 4 months later when they kind of forget about the ups and downs of the emotional roller coaster and hear how much they like the space. And yeah, so this is an example of a really big project. They don't all take that long, but it's generally what you should prepare yourself for. It's kind of a roller coaster having your house torn up or doing your dishes in the bathtub or whatever it is while you don't have a kitchen. So
Dishes in the bathtub, that's one I don't think I even did in college. Something to prepare for when I remodel my house.
Yes.
Amy, are you ready to go?
Yes. Yep. Okay. Upstairs. And so, a few things I wanted to touch on, just to show you quick, is kind of what the unit that from the mini split looks like up there in the corner on the wall. And so that provides both heating and cooling. Depending on the model, you know, we talk to our HVAC contractors and we get their opinions on what would be best. And so they'll determine the size of it, if we need any supplemental heat as well. And so what I wanted to show you too is in this case, we did do some baseboard heat as well, just based on the unit that was used in this project. It won't be necessary in every type of project, but it was something that we did here, as well as some in-floor heat in the bathroom. So mini splits, you know, again, it can be anywhere from probably 4,000 to 12,000, depending on how many you need for it. So I figure what I will actually do is start out, I'm gonna go back out in the hallway here, if you give me a second, and kind of walk through what the changes were in the house. So right now, I'm kind of standing at the top of the stairs. And so at the end of the hall, where you've got the door open to the new master suite, that was actually a closet that was in this bedroom right here. The closet was in the hall for that bedroom. And so we essentially knocked out that closet, and that became our entrance to the new master suite. And then in the hall here, there's a general bathroom, excuse me, that we added a bath fan to, and then we had to close up a window now that there is a new bathroom right behind it. So in this hall bedroom, or she calls it her sewing room, we added a bigger closet, and so the room, you know, I think has more storage. They repainted it, new millwork. So there were minor things, and that's going to happen when you do addition projects. You're usually going to get involved with adjacent rooms. So there are going to be some changes and some patching that needs to be done. So I will continue here. Now we have actually a linen closet in the hall, and then you walk into the master suite. So the bedroom here, I apologize if the camera's a little rocky here. The bedroom is about 17 by 13. So it's a good size. They have room for like a little sitting area, reading nook, You could have like a desk over in that corner. And then they have 2 walk-in closets. So I will walk over to one of them here. And so it's pretty common that we'll just install like a shelf, a rod, perhaps 2 different rods for different heights of clothing, or sometimes we leave it open for the owners to do their own work. And then there's a second one here. They don't actually have a lot of stuff in it, so it looks very neat and tidy. And then in the bedroom here, you know, we have nice energy efficient windows, beautiful hardwood floors that kind of match with what is in the rest of the home. And the millwork is also very traditional, high baseboards, the nice paneled doors. We did traditional knobs on the door. And then I will walk into the bathroom here. So there's that glass block window I was talking about. So it offers a lot of light. And then the shower over here has a nice half wall with a beautiful shower door that swings both in and out. I'll open that up here. And the things I want to highlight in the shower here, you'll see on the half wall, there's this valve. So we're able to turn the water on right when you open the door versus having to kind of be in the water, the cold water. So it's nice to kind of place that close to an entry in the shower if possible. Other things I wanted to point out, the hand shower and the regular shower head. So designers at Castle are able to kind of talk to you about the various pros and cons and the different types. Some of them have slide bars, some are combined. So they'll kind of talk to you about your budget and kind of whatever you need. Then other things in the shower here, the niche. So it's kind of an area that's nice to add detailing to. You know, accent tiles commonly done in those. And then down here, there's actually also a little shaving ledge. So functionality is important too. And then we go back out here. All right, tight quarters. We have a vanity with a marble top, mirror, light fixture. Adding a cabinet above the toilet is always nice, a little extra storage. The marble tile on the walls is beautiful. And then we did hex tile on the floor. So the hex tile tends to offer a more traditional look. And there's many different sizes that you can do with that. It really depends on, you know, kind of the look you're going for, but we try to keep things as traditional as possible if it's a traditional house, and that's what the client wants to do. So I think those are kind of the highlights for the actual materials and fixtures and the space. One question that we tend to get is, how long does this take? So for a large addition project, typically we're going to say that construction is about 16 to 20 weeks. But for this one, we wrote in 18 weeks for guaranteed completion date. And so what that means is we plan to be substantially completed, meaning you can actually use the space within that amount of time. If we go over, we pay you per day. So for this one, I would say it's 16 weeks. We were mainly done. And then the owners did some of their own painting, kind of like in the last project. And then we had to wait on some gutters till the very end. Another question that we receive sometimes is kind of what hiccups might happen in a project, because, you know, it's remodeling and you can't always see everything, and it's just sometimes new to homeowners. So for this particular project, one of the hiccups was the vanity. It was actually provided by the homeowners, but we noticed right away when we opened it that it had some damage. So, you know, we had them contact a vendor right away, and we got that taken care of. So I'd always recommend, you know, if you are going to supply your own light fixtures or hardware even, you know, open the box, make sure you have the correct quantities, that nothing's broken, because we don't want anything to hold up projects. So I'd say that's the biggest one. You know, weather plays a factor with additions. There was one day, I think it was a Saturday here, where the project manager got a call that, you know, one of the tarps had come off. And so within an hour or two, he had someone over and took care of it. So again, that's kind of what you get with you when you work for a design build company such as Castle, is the great customer service. So in general, I think that's about all I have. I'm ready for questions.
One question that we've received is, and it echoes back to Ashley as well, do you guys find that many of your homeowners will take on part of the project, such as painting and other things like that, to save on cost and time?
Yeah, I would definitely say kind of the front end or the tail end work. So the demolition and the painting are probably the most common. Sometimes flooring or tile, but you know, unless someone has family members or a lot of experience doing it themselves, it's typically the demolition and the painting, I would say.
Okay. Another question from Ryan. They are debating about adding a shed dormer to a second story. Do you have any advice to help make that decision?
So the headroom is going to be the main thing to think about, I guess, whether or not you can, you know, finish the attic without adding a dormer versus needing to add a dormer. So typically, you know, we're able to come out and look at projects free of charge. You know, it's about an hour, hour and a half long meeting and kind of assess it based on your particular house and just kind of your needs. So typically that's what we would do, is kind of look at it. But it's definitely more about kind of the floor all the way up to the peak, kind of what your height is. You know, if it's already only at like 7 feet there, that's not going to really work, because, you know, even to do a flat roof, you need most of the headroom you're going to want at 7 feet to be technically a legal bedroom. But you know, we can finish off attics with lower headroom, but it's more of kind of called finished storage. So you definitely want a bit higher, probably close to like 9 or 10 feet from the floor up to the peak, if you're gonna be doing a shed dormer.
Okay. We have time for one more question. It was mentioned that marble was used in the master bath countertop. Does marble require any additional maintenance?
I would say it's probably good to seal it from now and then, or like time to time. It definitely has more, it's more susceptible to stain, but it is used very frequently in bathrooms. I would say in kitchens, it's probably, you know, a little more likely to stain, as long as you know, clean things up pretty quickly, and just, you know, any spills or makeup or product that might get on the counter, you'll probably be okay. And then the nice thing is it can be, you know, kind of resealed later on as well.
Okay, wonderful. If you guys have any other questions, keep sending them in and I'll make sure that Amy gets them and can respond offline.
Yep.
Thank you, Amy, for presenting that project. It was just, that master bath is simply gorgeous.
Sounds good.
Okay, Loren, do you have any closing words?
Yeah, I just want to say those were some beautiful projects. I really appreciate our talented designers. I like the efficient use of space in the kitchen. And you know, the privacy of that bath location was really smart, to have it kind of around the corner. So, and then that second floor master suite fits in really well and adds a lot of value to the house and makes it a much more up-to-date house of what people are looking for today. So I was excited to see those projects. And I guess if you have projects to discuss, the best way to do that is to schedule a phone call with me. You can do that through our website by clicking on the pop-up that says Let's Chat. It's connected to my calendar and allows you to schedule a half-an-hour call. I do a lot of Zoom and FaceTime meetings. Sometimes people send in pictures in advance, but it really allows me to give you some pretty good advice over the phone or Zoom or FaceTime, and us to figure out, you know, is the ceiling high enough, or can you open this wall between the kitchen and your dining room, or what is this going to cost approximately, or how long is it going to take? So that's kind of what I do, and I encourage you to visit our website and use the Let's Chat pop-up to schedule a time to talk with me.
Yes, that pop-up has been amazing. I just want to, again, thank you folks for attending our virtual Impressive Progressive event. We hope you've enjoyed and leave inspired to get your project started. As a reminder, this event has been recorded and it will be emailed out in the next few days. We will be sure to respond to any questions that were missed offline. As we wrap things up, I want you to watch for a quick post-event survey. It should pop up right as you close out, and it will come again in your emails. We genuinely appreciate you coming and hope to see you at future events. Stay safe and thank you.